Hi, third graders. Today we're going to read Chapter 8, Henry Hudson. First, let me just share a few vocabulary words you'll see. The first word is solid. Solid means firm and hard. The next word is iceberg, which means a large mass of ice floating in the ocean. Maize. Maize is another way of saying corn. And the last word is expanse, a large open area. Please follow along as I read Chapter 8, Henry Hudson, out loud. An Englishman named Henry Hudson tried 4 times to find the Northwest Passage. He died trying. First, in 1607, he tried sailing north from England. If you look at a globe, you can see what he was trying to do. He understood that Earth was round, and he thought he could sail across the North Pole. He didn't understand that solid ice always covers the Arctic Ocean. I hoped to have a clear sea, Hudson wrote of his first journey, but that proved impossible due to the ice surrounding us. Hudson tried again in 1608. He sailed northeast and again found icebergs and freezing weather. He turned his boat around and tried sailing northwest. When his crew realized that they weren't heading home, they rebelled against Hudson, saying they wouldn't work unless they sailed to England. So, home they went. Hudson encountered icebergs and freezing weather. In 1609, Henry Hudson sailed west. This time, he was working for a group of businessmen called the Dutch East India Company. On this trip, he reached North America and claimed land for Holland. Hudson saw many native people. One man who sailed with him wrote in his journal, "They are well dressed in loose deerskins and brought green tobacco, which they gave us in exchange for knives and beads." The native people also gave the sailors bread made of maize. Hudson sailed past a very good piece of ground and a cliff close by of white-green color. On the side of the river called Mannahatta, it was the island we now call Manhattan, the center of New York City today. Next, Hudson sailed up a river that still bears his name. You'll find the Hudson River on a map of the state of New York. Manhattan is the center of New York City today. In 1610, Hudson tried once more to find a shortcut from Europe to Asia. He sailed a ship called Discovery into a wide expanse of water in the northern part of Canada. Today, it is named after him, the Hudson Bay. On the map, the Hudson Bay looks like a big open body of water, but in many places, the water gets too shallow for sailing. In many other places, it is frozen solid almost all year long. Once again, Henry Hudson had sailed into icy waters just as winter was coming. Hudson and his crew went ashore during the winter. They ran short of food and water. Some of the crew got sick, some died. The sailors blamed Hudson for caring more about finding the Northwest Passage than about keeping his crew safe and healthy. When the ice began to melt, the crew rebelled. They forced Hudson, his son, and a few crew members loyal to Hudson to get into a small boat with no oars. Then they left them behind and sailed the Discovery back to England. No one ever heard from Henry Hudson again. Hudson and others were left in a boat with no oars. That brings us to the end of Chapter 8.